Welcome to Leeds United fans, and my name is Philip, and I'm joined again this time again with Luke. How are things, Matt?
Pretty good, pretty tired.
Well, sure. Yeah, you had your little bit of a holiday away, and you got to watch the Leeds game, so you got everything in there. So,
Yeah, yeah. It was either that or meetings about what to do on a boat. So I sent the missus and watched the game.
exactly. Let her do all the planning side of things.
Exactly.
But on the last one, we said we'd hope we get a win, and worst case scenario, a draw. We got a draw. It was one of those games that were realistically we would have lost it last season,
Yeah,
but it wasn't a good game to watch, and but like people are critical of the saying this and that, but Rodrigo had two great chances. Rodrigo hadn't played for 6 weeks.
exactly. Yeah,
Layoff. The lads hadn't played in a month. Cooper was making his first start. Bamford picked up a knock in training. It turns out that Marsh didn't reveal in the run up to the game, hence he didn't start and he came on as a sub. Sinistera, my opinion, shouldn't have been starting that game after coming back from South America. Should have been on the bench.
yeah,
Looked off the pace, looked tired, two stupid mistakes. He'll learn from it, but it changed the whole outlook of the game. Like a bit like earlier in the season when Bamford went off injured in
yeah,
Southampton, and obviously James was probably going to come on for Harrison. You could see that Marsh had a game plan again this time to rotate the players, but the sending off just fucked everything. We had to go at five at the back and just grind out a point. But it's a point. And they all add up at the end of the season.
yeah. It's a clean sheet. We
Exactly.
don't get any of them.
Yeah,
I
after
think
conceding five in the last game, again, put clean sheet. Like you can't really ask for much more, can you?
I thought it was a game of positives. Sinistera, that was not a sending off. Very
Just
petty refereeing.
yeah, the inconsistent referee and threat was very frustrating. And the most fouls of any game this season. It was just and Villa are a poor team.
They are considering the talent they've got on the field.
Exactly. They should have beaten us realistically with 10 men, but granted now Coutinho hit the post and Watkins had a half chance. But that was all they really created. Like there was no time in the game where I really feared that we were going to get a drubbing.
No, like I say, it was a game of positives, and clearly the rest of the Leeds paying faithful agree with me that Tyrone Mings is a bell end.
Tyrone Mings is fucking shit. Tyrone Mings is fucking shit. I
Look
got
at that.
louder and louder too. It was great.
They even turned the mic up on the crowd. They usually turn it down, and they obviously pressed something wrong and turned it up.
Yeah, but this
Oh,
time Mings didn't do anything to annoy me. It was Konza that annoyed me this time. Like he flew over Rodrigo and caught him with an elbow, and
yeah,
then stood over him, like looking down at him, shouting at him, and I'm like, "What's this about?" He went for the ball, like you cleaned him
yeah.
out of it, and then you start shouting abuse at him on the ground, like, what?
Makes no sense.
No, no, no. I just thought Villa are and Gerrard is clearly out of his depth there. He was going crazy on the fucking touchline, but they, they don't really. No matter what he seems to do, it gets worse.
It's a big step up from the Scottish Premier League.
Oh, it's proven to be nearly too big of a step up for him, I think.
Well, the thing is, when you get a Scottish team I mean, like Rangers last season, obviously not under Gerrard, under Van Bronckhorst, got to the Europa League final.
Yeah,
Your two main Scottish teams have got a way of bumping up their performance when it comes to Europe
yeah.
because it's a one-off game followed by a one-off game a few weeks later.
Hmm.
Consistently, though, over a season, they lose to teams that they shouldn't be losing to.
Yeah.
If they were that good, they wouldn't be losing those games. So it gives you a false sense of security as a Rangers or a Celtic manager.
Hmm.
Ange Postecoglou at Celtic, you know, I wouldn't fancy him in the Premiership, no matter how well he's doing at Celtic.
And if them players were as good as they thought they were, or I think they are, they wouldn't be playing in Scotland.
That's true.
It's a middle tier league. They're not bad players playing for Celtic or Rangers, obviously, but they're not Premiership quality. Like
Kemar Roof,
exactly, like he was League One with us. No, he wasn't League One. He was Championship with us, but
Championship.
but
Went
that one,
sold him to Anderlecht and then ended up at Rangers. He'd have been better off staying with us, but would he
Mm,
have been good enough?
no,
He did
didn't.
score that. He scored that belter for Rangers though against Standard Liège a couple of seasons ago.
Oh, there's a goal in him, all right, but he was never consistent.
No, I did like him though.
Oh yeah, he was good for us, but I wouldn't really lose any sleep over him now, to be honest.
He was a decent striker considering he wasn't a striker. He was a left midfielder.
Yeah, he was kind of a hybrid type thing. He was either
Yeah,
here or there. Like he was kind of a yeah, but he was good for us. But anyways, we'll move on from that now and let's talk about the players overall. First off, we'll start with Meslier. How do you feel he done?
well, clean sheet.
Clean sheet. He
Can
had some
yeah,
good saves. He had some
he did.
awful flappy moments in the first half, though. He was coming some of the crossing stuff. He completely missed them. Like he was
He
lucky
did.
now a couple of times. I'll have to go say that. Like
Yeah, but every team relies on a bit of luck.
oh yeah, true.
The best, even the best.
Hmm.
He's a great shot stopper.
Oh, brilliant. And again, he's very young. Like people forget how young he is. Like he's not
Still in
even
the
he's not
top
even
of the
near his
career.
peak as a keeper yet.
Oh no,
He's
I
on,
mean
but he's like 8 years off it nearly.
your keepers go a lot longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're looking at near around
Yeah,
30 when the goalkeeper's at his ultimate fucking place. In the game. Like
yeah, absolutely. No,
so.
I have no issue with Melier. We've got a world class keeper in the making.
Mhm.
French under 21.
Bound to be
Yeah.
and found to be a French international, full French international soon as well too. I'd say
Who are the French goalkeepers? It Lloris.
Lloris and
Oh, Areola.
yeah, there's a few like, but I think realistically he could go as the goalkeeper number three to the World Cup. He
I don't
should.
see why not.
He should. He should.
I agree. Areola's all right, but he's not done anything. He's not like a standout. And Lloris is, well, you never know with a goalkeeper. I wouldn't say he's coming to the end, but he's
Hmm.
seasoned.
Hmm. I bring Meslier just for the experience, just to get him integrated into the group and just get him used to the full team, first team.
Agreed.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And next up, we'll go to right back with Christensen, who had a good game as well. Good solid game.
Yeah, he's good in defence. He's good. I do like an attacking winger, wing back. Sorry.
Yeah.
So very much like Ayling, but obviously Ayling's not 100% at the moment. I
Hmm.
like him. I think we've made some really astute signings, and he's one of them.
Hmm. And he's growing too every game. Like, he said it himself. We touched on the last one. He was still getting used to the Premier League. And I liked when he came off, when he started grabbing Elan by the head and started roaring at him like a fucking crazed Viking,
My concern when we signed all these players from like Salzburg, it's the Steven Gerrard thing. He's come from the Scottish league. Well, the Austrian league's terrible.
Hmm.
Red Bull Salzburg basically it's a one team league now because
Oh,
Red Bull have pumped the money in.
yeah. Hmm.
But then you watch Salzburg in the Champions League, not the Europa League, the Champions League, and they are competitive
Yeah. He's a Danish
consistently.
international.
Say again, sorry.
He's a Danish international.
He's a Danish international. They're a decent team.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, but the players we've signed from there, it's working out.
They're
They're
all
good
working out.
players. Yeah,
Exactly. Can't complain at all. And I thought Cock had another great game at the back.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he seems a lot more comfortable with Cooper next to him.
Oh, he was. Yeah. You could see the defense was way more organised with Cooper in there. I seen people online that were saying, "Oh, Cooper made this mistake and that mistake," and you're like, "It's
Everyone makes
just,
mistakes.
it's his first fucking game back."
I'm sorry, but every team makes mistakes.
I know, yeah, but I just couldn't understand the criticism. It's his first game back. We've kept a clean sheet. Like, what? Like,
Some people will
expect
never
us
be
to
happy.
expect him to suddenly turn into Fabio fucking Cannavaro or something like. Oh,
And he was never that anyway.
no, he's like Cooper came in, sorted out the defense. Lorente, as we said, was completely off form. He was non-verbal. So Cooper came in, and we got a clean sheet. It's no
Yeah,
coincidence.
it's not.
No coincidence. And Strike had another solid game too at left back. He got caught a couple of times for pace, but overall, couldn't complain about his performance either.
Especially considering he's not a left back.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I've said this before to you on this. I was never a fan of him, but recently Yeah,
Stepping up.
he's got better and better.
Hmm. And before we move into the midfield, we'll touch on the substitutions quickly in the back. Aileen came on and just to kind of shore up the defence at the back, and you could tell the mask was kind of affecting his vision a bit because he made one mistake where the ball just he completely missed it. But I'd say with the mask, again with the mask, his field of vision wouldn't have been fully there. But and again, he's
It
come
must
back
be
to
weird.
fitness, but he done everything. He done everything right that he needs to do.
It must be weird having to wear one of those masks.
Oh, I'd say so. Like your field of vision, like could be really, really impaired. Like,
I said that Victor Osimhen wears one for Napoli. He's been wearing it for ages. He still puts it in the net, but
hmm,
it, I mean, yeah, it's weird. It must not just the field of vision. It must feel. It must be a distraction.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Like, but briefly touch on this when Jimenez was where came back and he had to wear the helmet at first. Like
Oh
there was
yeah,
one game he threw it down on the ground. He just got so frustrated with it because he was heading it, but it wasn't hitting his head right because it was
yeah,
affecting it. Like, but we won't,
and
won't dwell on that for
and
too long. But
yeah. So you must have to do loads of training to like
just
get
get used.
used to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's basically retraining yourself.
yeah. You have to learn how to head the ball again.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually you're not going to need the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you won't want to be heading the ball that much if you're wearing the mask to begin with.
No, you do not. No, in case. And
Yeah,
Firpo done all right when he came on too. He didn't do anything wrong. He looked assured. Yeah, I think he looked a lot more assured in the back five, where he could kind of go forward a bit more and not really worry about behind him as much.
yeah. Well, more of a wing back than a
Yeah,
full back kind of.
but that's what he
Yeah,
was before we signed him. He was always a wing back. He was never really a traditional left back.
well, he's been signed as a left back. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the system we generally play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to criticize someone when they're not actually playing in a position that they play in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he done
But
all
yeah,
right when he came on. Now didn't do anything wrong. Helped shore up the defense, get a point. Couldn't complain.
I do like the changeability of the system though. Bielsa
Yes.
wouldn't have done that
No,
as
he
much as
would
I love
never.
Bielsa.
No, no. The fact that Marsh knew that this game was gone as a winner, even though we nearly stole it at the end with that chance with Bamford and Click, that was really unlucky.
Yeah,
But he
and
just shored it
and
up.
and Marsh has learned as well. Like the Southampton game, it was a refusal to kind of change things that cost us a win.
Yeah,
He's already learned that you've got to adapt.
yeah,
So adaptable manager, adaptable systems.
yeah. Can't complain for where we are right now. Like we're
Yeah,
still in building mode. We're far from the finished article. And Marsh has still got more ideas to implement on his team, and team is
yeah,
growing. So. And in midfield, I even a shame he came off early, but he had a yellow and he was a hot game with Rocca. I thought Rocca that was his best performance yet.
yeah. I like him really like him. He's like a whippet, just in and about.
Yeah, just falls
Very
back into defence and just covers all the ground and makes sure everything is secure at the back. Like,
yeah. And then you've got Tyler, who's more of your creative force.
hmm. No, I was really impressed by Rocca, and you could tell he was frustrated to come off. But as we touched on earlier, that was the most fouls in any game so far this season, and he was getting heated. Rocca, he was
Yeah, he'd
getting a
have
bit
gone.
annoyed at times. So I
Yeah,
think
he'd have gone.
I think with Sinistera already off, I think the last thing we needed was another player off. So it was probably the best just to get him out of there and have him for the next game.
It's nice to see. Is a lot of people criticize when you have a player that doesn't like to be substituted, and yeah, you've got to react in the right way. But at the same time, nobody wants to be substituted, and I don't want the player to look happy that they're getting substituted.
Oh,
So yeah,
exactly. Great performance from him. And Tyler Adams he was a bit. You could tell he'd played in a way on international duty. He wasn't as dynamic as usual, but he done his part. Like he held the midfield together and he tried his best, whatever. But the whole going down to 10 men so early in the second half didn't help matters really. Like,
no, I mean he's got two jobs. He is a more creative player, even though he's quite a defensive midfielder
mm-hmm.
by trade. But he's got the creative side and the shoring up side, and he did that part very well. We didn't really have the creativity as such this game, but you get games like that.
Yeah, and of course we've mentioned earlier Sinistera. He was looking like he was had some class moments, but he looked tired. He looked mentally tired. He just when he stuck out that leg, and you could just see it was just a moment of just Just
Yeah,
sticking out the leg, just trying to slow the game down, just to try and.
it's not it shouldn't have been yellow carded for that.
It's
I'm 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 very critical of some of the things that players get yellow carded for these days, like taking your shirt off when you celebrate. It's bullshit.
that's stupid. That's stupid.
Bullshit.
Don't like. They never like that. Never will.
I mentioned it the other week, the Juventus Salernitana game where I can't remember which player it was, but a Juventus player that scored already on a yellow gets a second, gets sent off for the celebration, and then they disallowed the goal. He got sent off for a now that should get rescinded.
Yeah,
It's a
by
goal
by
for
right, I should, yeah, because it wasn't a
yeah.
goal. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Some of the decisions like that's going around in football now, I just like there was one at the weekend, wasn't it? Who was it? Was it Blackburn who they got a goal and then they brought it back for a penalty and they missed the penalty and ended up losing to Cardiff. Why? Why the fuck?
I don't get it. For me, Sinistera was not a sending off. I'm not really debating the yellow card for the first incident. The game was kind of going that way. I think the referee lost control, to be honest.
Oh, the referee had no control over that game.
I'm not one of these Leeds fans that is automatically on the referee's back if he gives a decision against us because our players do as much wrong as anybody else.
Yeah, we did give away a lot of we did
Yeah,
a lot of fouls the last game. Now to be fair, like
we did. But that second yellow wasn't, that shouldn't be a yellow. Celebrating a goal by taking your shirt off shouldn't be a yellow. I mean, if I was playing and I took my shirt off, I'd understand me getting a yellow. But with their fatigues, if anything, they are blessing the world. So let them get on with it. It's nonsense. And it's sticking your leg out. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't touch anybody. No, it's just the referee being a twat.
And Arneson didn't do too bad, but once we went down to 10 men, he was all at sea, really, wasn't he?
He's another one that's been away with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was
See, they've
trying
got.
his best, but he was just one of those games where it wasn't coming off for him.
I was reading an article about him, and when he decided to come to Leeds, he was heavily criticised by a lot of people, saying, "What are you going there for? You're not one. You're not going to play." Well, that's not true. Two, you're going to be in a relegation scrap. You know, basically they're the wrong club for him to go to. But he's enjoying it. He wants to be there,
Yeah,
and his performances show that.
yeah. And it made sense to go to a manager that knows him.
Exactly.
Like if you're going to make your step up to the Premier League, you want a manager that has faith in you and is going to play you and is going
Yeah.
to believe in you.
Gets more games than Calvin Phillips, doesn't
Exactly, sure. Phillips now is. I know he's injured, but he wasn't getting anything at there.
he?
And Jack Harrison again, he tried his best, but it was just one of those games, wasn't it?
It was like the Everton game. They shut us down.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Everton were nowhere near as dirty as what Villa were.
No.
Everton just shut us down way more fairly. Villa did anything to slow this game down.
Mm.
They're a team out of form, out of ideas.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
got ideas, but it's like when you play a lower league team and they park the bus. You know, you
Yeah.
can only do certain things.
Yeah, but I think now if we hadn't gone down to 10 men, we'd probably have got them. I'd say because we were the
Yeah,
better team in the first half, and I think with the substitutions that Marsh had planned, it was obvious that Bamford was going to come on, and Bamford done well when he came on.
yeah,
He was a presence up front. He was getting shots in, and as we already touched on, he nearly got the winner, but click very very close to it. Only for McGinn slid in and just got it. He had it in the back of the net, and that we would stole the 3 points.
yeah, true.
So I Bamford done people critical of Bamford, but what I seen him in his cameo role, he done well. And we mentioned Rodrigo earlier on that he had two great chances.
I mean,
But
one of them wasn't a great chance. He made it a great chance, and
oh
very
yeah,
close.
he nearly got in the top corner. But again, I couldn't be critical because he hadn't played in 6 weeks.
I don't understand getting on your team's back, and if they're not get on your team's back if they're not trying.
Yeah.
If they couldn't give a shit, get on your team's back. If they're trying, leave them alone.
And again, after coming back after 6 weeks, I thought
Yeah,
he'd done well up there.
I think he's been brilliant this season.
I would have ideally liked to have him in behind Bamford going forward, though.
Well, we might get that when they're
I
both
think so.
full
I
fit.
think so. Ideally, I think if Bamford was getting into these positions that he's shooting, I think Rodrigo is more than likely going to be in there to tap them in.
Yeah,
And he was on a run of form, so the two of them could combine really well this season. I think, hopefully.
yeah. Like I say, we just need him fit.
Mm. And Somerville came on as well to try to do something, but it was very hard for him.
Yeah, he's down to 10 men by them, so he's already kind of got an arm tied behind his back.
Exactly. To be honest with you, I instead of putting Somerville on, I would have put Willie on myself just to give him his debut. To be honest, because even though he wasn't going to do anything out of the ordinary, that's the only thing I might have done differently in that game. It was Marshall, just when the last 10 minutes
I
or
don't think
whatever
it
it
would have
was,
felt
just stick on Willie and let him try and run at defenses and see can he get in with Bamford somehow.
Yeah, I don't think it would have affected the game either way.
No.
So either way, it was probably worth a go.
Hmm.
I still think it's hilarious that we've got a fully blooded Italian international in our under 21 team.
Yeah, the under 21s are again another great performance. Willie got a goal, Jaffe got a goals, 2 goals. Perkins scored again. That's 10 games in a row. Perkins has scored now. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy good. Like
2-0 down as well, so it was a good comeback. And the thing is, as well, like we said last week, these are under 21s. These are the almost children.
yeah.
Yeah, when you've got people calling for Perkins and whatnot to be drafted straight in. But this wasn't a game against children. This was in the what do you call it trophy?
Oh, I don't know the name, but I know the one you're on about. I can't think of the name, but it's the King Crown or something. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
I didn't pass it either. But I always called it the Milk Cup.
Oh yeah, let's go with that. The Milk Cup.
The Milk
But,
Cup. I always think of it as that.
but Tranmere hard hitting. I mean, yeah, fourth division team,
Yeah.
but it's not kids.
No. And they done
And it
well.
showed. It showed. Like I said, 2-0 down. Tranmere hit them quick, hit them early, came back. It was 3-3 at one point. They did well.
Mm.
And like I say, I do like having an Italy international playing at that level. I bet he didn't know what to think of it.
Oh, apparently he was very happy from what the reports are saying. He got his goal and he knew that he had to do something in this game just to get himself in the reckoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course all them young lads now they're in the second half. Like I've said in the last one, in the last season we got Jaffe, Somerville, and Greenwood through, and of course they're knocking on the door of the first team now. Them boys after Christmas, for definite, will all be. I think Willie might be in a bit earlier than that, but Perkins and Darko Gravy, they'll definitely be knocking on the door of the first team.
Who's the other lad? I forgot his name. The striker. He's scored in like the last 5 games as
Oh,
well.
Matteo Joseph. Yeah, he's
That's the
doing
one.
really well too, but he's only 18 as well, like, or
Yeah,
is he 18 or 19, like?
not hearing much of his name in terms of first team, but he's bagging him away for the under 21s.
He is, yeah, yeah. But we signed him as a 17-year-old from Espanyol, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So he was very very highly rated, and
He looks
everyone
good.
everyone in Spain were like, he fucking got something here, like.
Very good. Oh, it certainly appears so.
Oh yeah, and he was doing well in pre-season as well too. He got a goal in one of the pre-season games. I can't remember exactly which one it was now, but Marsh clearly sees a future for him, and Bielsa rated him. So give them a bit of time. They're good. The future of the young lads in the future of Leeds is really 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 good at the moment. Like go all over the team. Like even in goals, like you've got Meslier, who's only 22.
Yeah.
Arneson is young. Tyler Adams is young. Sinistera is young. Harrison is young. Jaffe Gelhardt is young. Who else have got these young lads in there? Hedge is only a young lad. Archie Gray. Your man's out on loan at Millwall.
Oh, scoring all the goals.
Oh, shit. Why can't I think of his name?
Cresswell.
Creswell. Crap. Just trying to think of them all here now at the minute, like, and
Oh, it does look good. And one of Geldhardt's goals against Tranmere was rather special.
Yeah, he played really well for them. That team.
And all these, like I say, we've not criticised, but we've said about the fans say, "I'll get Perkins in the first team." Calm down. But this was him against men, against a stodgy fourth division team, and he looked the shit.
Yeah. So they're getting there, and they will all get there. I have no doubt by the end of the season they'll be all in and around the first team. Just people just need to just give them a chance. Don't be putting too much pressure on them too quick.
No. I say what though, it would be nice if we could do a bit of a Manchester United, which isn't something I'll say often, but having almost a full team of under 21s that are soon going to be good enough to step up. If we could have like a real, like most of the team come from our youth team, that'd be interesting.
Oh, it will be. It will be. I'm fairly sure it will be. That's the long term plan to have.
Yeah.
Any smart team now is looking at the future as the youth development is the only way to do it, because buying established players now is getting harder and harder, and they're getting more and more expensive too.
But the established players we've bought, like Robles, he's there to develop the young goalkeepers, including Melier. That's a good signing.
Yeah. And people don't talk about things like that,
No.
No. And
it's like when Manchester City signed Scott Carson, and I was like, what? He was like fourth choice, but he wasn't there to play.
No. Coach, yeah. And before we give our thoughts on the Palace game and finish up for this one, our own, these Leeds born and not bred, but Holland man. What the fuck?
I'm right, aren't I? We had him on trial.
I don't know. I don't know. Did we?
I think we had. I'm sure I've heard that. You remember the Cantona story where Trevor Francis had him on trial and he went, "Nah, not good enough," and then we got him and won the title. I might be wrong on this, but I heard a story that we had him years ago on trial and turned him down.
I never heard that. You could be right. I've never heard that though.
Hopefully, it's bollocks.
I'd say it is, man. I'd say I couldn't, but but anyways, he has fucking 3 hat tricks in 8 games,
and then 2 last night.
Apparently, I watched it. I seen it on the Sky Sports that the Copenhagen player said to Grealish, "Is he human?" But it wasn't something bullshit. I seen the interview today. Grealish, like the goalkeeper, said, well, they actually went up and said, "He's not human. He is not human."
And their goalkeeper, he had a great game. Like, forget the fact that he conceded 5 goals. It would have been 20 if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. But Jesus Christ, last 3 home games, 3 hat tricks, and he got 2 assists again at the weekend. And he's like 15 goals already.
This is the thing, when he's not scoring, he's assisting. Yeah. And then there's people criticising, saying, "Oh, he's only had 16 touches in this game." Yeah, but 3 of them are goals. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, a few lads as well around here that was talking about Holland, and they were like, "Oh, will he keep doing this though? Has he just got off to a good start?" And I'm like,
"That's not a good start. That's unprecedented. It's unreal.
That's the best ever."
Yeah.
Like, I looked at the stats, the first 3 hat tricks, the nearest to him was Michael Owen on 48 games. He is at an 8. Like Luis Suarez, Alan Shearer, all the fucking names are after Michael Owen on 48 games for 3 hat tricks, and he has it at 8.
Yeah. And that's not counting the games where he scored 2. Yeah. There's been a few of them. He's getting assists. He's getting a couple of assists virtually every game. It's ridiculous.
And the development with Foden, like, the 2 of them are getting better as a unit together too. Like, that's scary. Like,
ooh, that Man U game. I mean, I don't like Man City because of what they are. I don't like these. We've touched on it before. These clubs where a billionaire comes in and all of a sudden Man City are a great team. I don't like that. It's ruining the game. But they are good to watch.
Oh, Jesus,
and it is really good to watch them stuff, Man U.
But on one thing before I move on to the Palace thing, the reason I wanted to include Holland in this, do you think we'll get him near the end? Do you think in 10 years' time he'll potentially play for Leeds?
because of the dad connection.
because of the connection. He came out in the past in interviews and said, "I only want to play for Leeds." Like that's not bullshit. He actually did say that in an interview. I only want to play for Leeds United. This is when he was a young lad. Now he wasn't near where he is now. In
There's a
10
lot
years,
of factors.
10, 11 years time, do you think he could come and give us a couple of seasons before he hangs up the boots?
There's a lot of factors in that. One of the factors is where we will be in 10 years.
Yeah, true.
Um, if he's say, it depends on where he is as well. If he turns out anything like Robert Lewandowski, no,
Hmm.
no. Robert Lewandowski, 34 years old, gets a massive, was it like 50 million or something, 60 million move to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
If he's still on that level, no,
Yeah,
because
but the thing about it is, Holland is such a special talent. He's already on 450 grand a week at 22.
but this is what I mean.
He'll
If
have,
he,
he'll have in 10 years' time, man. He'll be worth about 100 million.
but this is what I mean. If he's still banging them away at 34, say,
Hmm.
like what Lewandowski is, we won't have a chance of getting him.
Hmm. I don't know.
Sorry to say.
I kind of hold on to the hope that he'll want to finish up with us.
You do get, yeah, you do get the odd thing like that.
Hmm.
You do. It does happen. There are players in football that like the romance of it, and it's not just about.
Hmm.
So I'd love it to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. I just wanted this. I'd love to see him play for even for one season near the end. Like even if he was only scoring 15 or 20 goals a season by that point, still it'd be great to see him with us. Like,
I'm trying to think of a. I'm trying to think of a similar case where that's happened, like a player that's basically could have gone
so
elsewhere, but has followed the heart rather than the money.
usually the South American boys they want to go back to their home teams.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, it happens a lot, and we'll see. We'll see. For now, anyway, he's just a joy to behold. And what's another before we finish up now? How do you think we're going to get on Palace? I'm thinking I'd like a win, but I'd say away at London is always tough, and we're missing Sinistera, of course, because he's got a one-game suspension, and
yeah.
I'd like
I'd take a
I'd,
draw.
I'd like a win, but I'd take a draw all day.
Palace are a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good team. Like you've said previously, we don't turn up in London quite a lot of the time.
Mm.
I'd take a draw. I'd take a 0-0.
Yeah.
Mainly because I like the thought of us getting another clean sheet.
Mhm.
Well, actually, no, I'll go 1-0.
Leeds
One
are
0 to
we're going to
to
go
us.
1-0. All right. I'm going to be a bit more cautious and kind of go for a draw. I'm not going to say what the score will be, but
I think it's 5-5.
I don't know. I just feel like that. It depends on what the team we put out. If it starts with Rodrigo in behind Bamford and the two of them are on from the get go, or they've got some other plan to kind of integrate them as the team goes on, we might have some chance. But
Difficult place,
just
Palace.
it is, yeah, and they've got a lot of fucking pace as well too. Like,
They're a good team, pacey team, and they've got good fans.
mm,
Like the atmosphere at Sellers Park's more like an Italian game.
yeah,
I like that.
mm,
Um, they're one of the Palace are one of those teams that I quite like. I
yeah,
like
and
to
they're
see them
doing.
do well.
And like a few years ago, they looked dead and buried, and Hunter Hodgson, left, and 8 players were out of contract, and you're like, oh well, Palace are definitely going down next season. Then they bring in Patrick Vieira, who was just a coach in America, and you're like, oh, good luck to you. And next thing, he just completely changed the identity of the football team, and really, they haven't had a great start now, but and
Yeah, but
again, but
they've had worse. They've definitely had worse.
oh yeah, but I don't know. I will see what happens at the weekend. But as long as we turn up and we give it our all, and the players play to the best of their ability, and at the end of the day, people that support Leeds need to be realistic, like that we're building for the future. And Marsh
Yeah,
came out after the game and said, "We're not a good team yet. We're going to be a good team. We've still got to work on things, and we're still getting all the pieces together. When injuries haven't helped and players coming in and out, and then you had the break from the Queen thing, and then you had the international break. So you've had a month. So like You know, if we if we finish 14th this season, we should all be happy.
I'd take that.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Some
take
some
that.
some supercomputer predicted we'd finish 14th, so hopefully that's right.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
I still view us as a promoted club, so anything that's staying up is good.
We more or less are, man, because of the fucking overhaul we had to do over the summer there. Like
Oh
an
yeah.
entirely new midfield, you know. The whole backbone of the team was completely ripped apart and changed again.
Yep. No, I think I'd be happy with a draw on this one. I said that I wanted a win for the Villa game, but as soon as you go down to 10 men, I'm
Yeah.
happy with the draw. With this one away in London, Palace are decent. I'd take a draw, but I'm predicting 1-0.
Hopefully you're right. Hopefully you're right. And we will be back next time to cover the Palace games, and hopefully we'll be happy. Thanks for watching, and like and share and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Thanks very much.